In southern Apulia, South Italy, olive groves cover over about 400,000 hectares and produce excellent olive oil, which is exported to the rest of Italy and abroad. The crop is so prevalent that it alone represents 75% of the total agricultural surface of the area. It is estimated that pruning the Apulian olive groves generates over 800,000 tons of woody biomass every year. FIUSIS has turned the challenge of managing such a large amount of residues into an important business opportunity. The company operates 1 megawatt electric biomass cogeneration plant, which uses 10,000 tons of olive tree residues per year and produces 8 million kilowatt-hour of electrical and thermal energy. The plant has been commissioned in 2010 and has kept expanding its successful business ever since.
Olive grove management generates a large amount of wood material in the form of pruning residues, dead old trees, and rootstocks. Disposal is obtained by open-air burning, mulching, or landfilling. None of those options is environmentally safe, and all incur significant cost. The industrialization of regional olive tree crops has only exacerbated the problem by increasing the volume and the frequency of operations. FIUSIS has turned this problem into a resource by capturing the residue stream and channeling into a biomass plant capable of turning waste into a resource. That way, FIUSIS offers farmers a valuable service by providing cost-free, environmentally safe waste disposal while obtaining free fuel for their plant. Residue collection is organized through a subsidiary company, Ligna, which coordinates and supports a number of competent local contractors who have equipped with the most modern machinery. In particular, 3 main working methods have been adopted, corresponding to the 3 main residue types. Pruning residue is collected through a dedicated harvesters that pick up the windrowed branches from the ground and feed them to a shredder, which discharges the comminuted material into a built-in container. The container is designed for a high dumping so that it can easily transfer its load into a larger agricultural trailer or truck bin for transportation to the plant. A different system is applied to heavy pruning operations that generate overly large branches. Those are too big for the dedicated pruning harvesters and therefore are moved to the field's edge with a tractor carrying a front loader and later shredded with a mobile grinder, discharging directly into truck bins. Grinding productivity ranges from 50 to 100 tons per day. Olive trees can get very old, but they eventually die. Furthermore, industrial plantations are renewed when production declines, so indefinite aging is not an option. Regardless, old trees are especially vulnerable to disease, and they must be removed in order to contain the infection. Those trees are managed like forest trees. They are cut with chainsaws, moved to a landing, and eventually chipped with industrial chippers. The latter come in several models, but the most popular among industrial users are truck-mounted or trailer-mounted drum chippers, equipped with their own independent engine in the 300-400 kilowatt-power range. Chipping productivity easily exceeds 100 tons per day. Once the diseased tree is cut, the game is not over yet. Part of the tree is left underground, and that must also be removed in order to contain the infection and to make space for a new disease-resistant tree. The stump and root are solidly anchored to the ground, and special equipment is required for their removal. In most cases, uprooting and size reduction are performed by tracked excavators in the 16 to 20-ton weight range. Given the variety of worksite conditions, operational models, and residue types, precision management is required. Special software is used to geolocate all farms participating in the initiative, plan and monitor operations, and eventually trace the origin and residue loads delivered to the plant in 70-kilometer radius.
FIUSIS bioenergy plant started operation in 2010 by commissioning a megawatt cogeneration plant aimed to transform 10,000 tons of pruning residues per year into 8 million kilowatts per hour of electricity and heat. The industrial site includes a storage area where the wood chips obtained from olive tree pruning are accumulated and moved to aerate them in order to reduce the humidity of the biomass and increase its calorific value, also limiting its degradation by fungi and molds. The actual biomass energy conversion plant is based on widely used and tested technologies. An automatic feeding system with rakes and conveyor belt brings the wood chips into a recovery boiler with a moving grate burner from Unique Comfort, an Italian company that has established itself on the international scene for its high level of efficiency and reliability. The boiler burns in constantly controlled conditions, 24 to 28 tons of wood chips per day, and the heat generated by the combustion of the biomass is recovered by a system of diathermic oil exchangers and used for the cogeneration of electricity and heat in an organic ranking cycle unit of the Turboden company, with an electric power of 1 megawatt based on a turbogenerator to transform thermal energy into mechanical energy and finally into electric energy. Instead of generating steam from water as a conventional steam turbine, the ORC system vaporizes an organic fluid in a closed cycle system, which allows to operate at lower pressures and no erosion of the metal parts and blades. All the electricity produced is fed into the national distribution network with priority for a line that directly feeds the city of Calimera, which can thus be boast of being the first city in Salento and one of the first in southern Italy for be powered by renewable energy. In addition, heat generated in the ORC unit is recovered and used for pellet drying in a production line built at the same site, further improving the overall efficiency of the biomass energy conversion process. Lastly, particular attention was paid to the reduction of polluting emissions and in the first place of fine particulate matter, which are drastically reduced through the use of a high-efficiency filtration system through which the fumes leaving the boiler are conveyed. Final emissions of particulates are equal to 1 milligram per normal cubic meter, compared to the maximum limit of 30 milligrams per normal cubic meter set for this type of plant. Moreover, future plans include a facility for turning the wood ash generated by the plant into high-quality fertilizer with a view to full implementation of the principle of the circular economy.
In addition, FIUSIS has commissioned a wood pellet production plant that recovers surplus heat and uses it for drying sawdust. Production is 1 ton of high-quality pellets per day. All the process heat required to produce the pellet is obtained at zero cost because it is recovered from the power plant. 25% of the electricity consumption incurred in the pelletizing process is met by the recently installed photovoltaic panels. In the coming years, FIUSIS plans to install an additional 250 kilowatts of photovoltaic to cover all the needs of the power plants. For these reasons, FIUSIS can afford to keep pellet prices at €8 per bag, 15 kilograms, which is well below a national average ranging between €12 and €16 per bag. Today, by virtue of these choices, demand for FIUSIS pellets has increased by 2,000%, and the production has rapidly increased from 600 tons a year marketed in 2020 to 1,500 tons in 2021. The plan is to further expand capacity to 6,000 tonnes per year in the short term. The procedures for obtaining product quality certifications are being activated by FIUSIS pellets.
FIUSIS supports the local community by employing 33 trained employees and provides a strong environmental benefit by avoiding the net emission of 4,500 tons of CO2 per year if compared to an equivalent plant fueled with natural gas, which represent the second best alternative. A plant fed with fuel oil would emit twice as much carbon. At the same time, use by the FIUSIS plant avoids the field burning of 10,000 tons per year of pruning residues. While now declared illegal, field burning is a traditional practice that is very difficult to stop in the absence of cost-effective alternatives. The initial investment of 8 million euros was made possible through project financing. At present, the company has an annual turnover of around 2 million euros, a most important result given the specificity of the local context and the positive effects this initiative generates on the local agricultural sector. In particular, FIUSIS offers a cost-free residue disposal alternative to over 2,000 farmers, increasing the profitability of their own farms. Finally, FIUSIS is financing studies for the production of fertilizers from biomass combustion ashes. This is therefore a winning model of sustainability studied and replicated in Italy and abroad.